All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
Welcome back. We are live. Another episode of the First Look PGA Tour. We have the Rocket Classic this week, aka episode 2 of the Summer of Birdies. Maybe episode like 2.5. But as I mentioned in prior episodes, the birdies are flowing once July comes around the calendar. We just see these same styles of golf courses, these same usual designs, the same usual winning scores, and hey, if you don't like it, then there's more tournaments for you to handicap, but there's ways to make money one way or another. So first thing I'm going to do, go through the normal Twitter thread. But before I get into it, I want to touch on the new design, because I posted the Twitter thread and people were like, it's a new course, you bozo. And yeah, I know it's a new course, but we talked about this. I think was it Colonial or one of the Texas events? Every single year, these guys, the architect guys, and hey, more power to you guys. You guys know about your stuff. But in terms of handicapping, winning score, style of golf that comes to the top, it almost never makes a difference. Even if they're big overhauls, unless it's like a massive total course change, the ethos of a golf course does not change too much, even with designers coming in and making it a big overhaul. So I didn't even mention it because I feel like mentioning it is just like looking for trying to get different with things when you don't have to. So, I mean, we saw things like, I forget exactly what design it was. I think it was Texas. Everyone was like, this is going to play so different this year. And it was the same exact damn thing. So I don't get too deep into those things, and I'm not going to get too deep into it here, but let's take a look at prior results at, Detroit Golf Club and see what types of golfers have gotten to the top there over the years. So here is the Twitter thread. One of the few golf courses where I don't gonna get overly married to a perfect statistical profile. Multiple styles have played well here. And it's on paper, it's like, oh, I messed up the screen. On paper, it's like a bomber's track. And yeah, Aldrich Potgieter was one of those bombers that made it, that got the job done here last year. But before that, I'm kind of skipping. Before that, Ricky Fowler, Cam Davis did not do anything crazy off the tee. I guess outside of that, I just skipped down. This is also a golf course where favorites have done really, really well here. Even Bryson, not mentioned here. Tone, Pendrith, Ricky, Colin, Akshay Minwoo, and then Aldrich kind of bucked that trend a little bit last year. But favorites have done really well here over the year. Obviously, distance is important here, but it does not necessarily matter 100%. Like I said, Ricky played well here, not doing anything crazy in the distance. Cam Davis didn't do anything in terms of just gaining a ton of strokes off the tee. We've seen players like Morikawa, Kirk, Rye contend. Those guys are not absolute bombers. So this is the average strokes gained per round by players over their last 10 starts, coming by winners and runner-ups. Sorry, let me repeat myself so you guys know what I'm saying here. This is the average strokes gained per round by winners and runner-ups the last 3 years, their previous 10 starts before they ended up popping at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Approach 1.21, off the tee 1.13, putting 0.56, around the green 0.54. You could see that approach immediately separates itself. So that is some elite approach play dating back to the last 10 rounds. And this is how many players spiked at least once. A spike is a +4 or better week. You could see every single player out of those winners and runner-ups spiked at least once on approach. Accuracy, 10 of 11, distance, 9 of 11, off the tee in general, 8 of 11, putting 7, around the green, 5. The only category that was universal was approach. So what is that saying? That approach is kind of the key benefactor leading into this event rather than the driver. And I think that's kind of surprising when you're taking a look at like a birdie fest or the style of golf you're thinking for the Rocket Mortgage Classic. And the short game coming into the week, is not anything crazy. It's really not anything crazy. The ball striking surprisingly does the heavy lifting at a golf course like this. So course history, not leaning on it too much. Look at these recent results, nothing crazy at all. So not really looking at course history at all. Anyone could kind of win. Here are some better course comps in my opinion. So definitely take a look at these 5 courses: Scottsdale, the Dye Stadium course, Twin Cities, Memorial Park, and Deer Run. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Looking at the weather this week, we might get some wind, guys. Some dicier weather. Look at this Thursday weather. It is only Monday, but look at this Thursday weather. We have gusts upwards of 25 miles an hour, double digits all day. Friday should be a little bit more calm, some PM rain, but it shouldn't be too much. Saturday gets dicey. Some rain all day. Hopefully they get all the golf in here. And then Sunday, there's a potential chance of lightning. But really, Thursday could be one of the more difficult days. Maybe a bounce back opportunity for Friday to make some more birdies. But that's what I'm looking for in terms of weather. In terms of winning scores here, we saw Aldrich win at 22, CD win at 18, Rick win at 24, Tone win at 26, CD 18, Bryson 23, Nate Lash 25. Now, something that will change would be the winning score, because this has changed to a par 70. So the winning score is going to be a little bit different just because the par changed. So I'm going to go with like a minus 19 winning score this week, minus 18 winning score, somewhere. Actually, I'm going to go with 17 to 19 range. That's what I'm going to go for winning score this week. So next thing I want to touch on is the contest selection for the week. I really do love 4 max entry contests. I just think they set up the best. 444 entrants in this contest, 250 per lineup. You can enter it 4 times, and we don't necessarily get the exact price of 2,000 to 10th place, but it's close enough. I just love the fact that you could turn 250 into 20 bands. You don't even have to max enter it. Only 443 people in this lineup. I can promise you, you're playing massive contests. You've beat 443 other people before. I love this one. And taking a look at the DFS board, we have Cam Young leading the way at 10.5, Xander 10.2, and that's it. Those are the only guys above $10,000. Kind of soft pricing, in my opinion, this week with not the weakest field in the world. I do like this pricing a lot. I think you can get very, very, very unique here. So that's the pricing. The one golfer I want to look at is the top golfer. That is Cameron Young. Cameron Young coming off of a runner-up finish at the Open, and we talked about him leading into the Open. I loved how he set up for the Open Championship, and I like what he's got going on here. He's played here 3 times, T46, T6, T2, hit the ball well every single start here, and he's coming in off of a nice week, gaining strokes in every category, over almost 10 strokes ball striking, another 2 around the green, about even on the greens. He's not the best bent grass putter, not the best. These aren't bent grass greens. These are like that weird POA, like that. It's that weird POA mix. That the same thing that TPC River Highlands has. So I don't mind that, even though he didn't putt the best at the Travelers Championship. He doesn't putt the best in the Northeast. Technically, we're not in the Northeast. You guys know my thing with Cam Young in the Northeast. It reminds him of home, and he doesn't play well. But we're in the Midwest here. I think Cam Young will play all right. He's not going to be reminded of home. So that's Cam Young at 10,500. Bring the screen back up. The next golfer I want to touch on in the DFS board is down the board a little bit. He's $7,800. Goes by the name of Marco Penge. Marco Penge is one of those bombers, is one of those golfers who I think is going to see this golf course and be like, I've seen bombers play well here before, and I could potentially be the next one. Coming off of a nice T18 at the Open Championship, his best finish on the PGA Tour since the Valspar back in March. He gained strokes in every single category for the first time since maybe a long time. I don't know if he hasn't gained strokes in every single category in the PGA Tour this year. So nice for Marco Penge, kind of getting the game in order. We know what he does in terms of driving distance. And like I said, I'm not looking for it completely, but we've seen driving distance pop here. And Marco Penge having that distance coming off of gaining strokes on approach in 2 of his last 3 starts is a really, really good sign. So Marco Penge is definitely one golfer I am looking for in that 7K range. Let's take a look at the betting board. Pretty similar to what we're seeing on the DFS board. We got Cameron Young, Xander Schauffele, Chris Gotterup, Siwoo Kim, Wyndham Clark, all under 20 to 1. And then we open it up a little bit. The first guy I want to touch on the betting board is down the board a little bit. 41 to 1, Michael Thorbjornsen. Michael Thorbjornsen off of a T7 and a T40 across the pond, and he finally got it back in order with the ball striking. Gained over about 4.5 strokes ball striking at the Open Championship. Another about 4 strokes ball striking at the Scottish Open. Pop the putter a little bit once around the green was nice. Michael Thorbjornsen just looks like the game in general is coming around. He's doing things well, and that kind of makes sense here. His course history here is a T4 in 2025 and then 2 missed cuts. Proven to do it here. Like, he played well here last year, gained strokes across the board, and at 40-1, I do not mind that number. Thorbjornsen has a caddy on his back who's caddied well here before, and I think that matters for sure. Taking a look at the betting board again, if we go up to 30-1, we see Ben Griffin. Ben Griffin coming off of a nice, I'm going to call it a nice T59 because he hit the ball well and just lost strokes putting. We know Ben is usually a pretty solid putter. He's never lost strokes putting at this golf course before. Really good sign for Ben Griffin. And I love what he's doing with the approach. He has not lost strokes on approach since a running make. He's really figuring it out with the ball striking. Kind of been a lackluster start to 2026 after what he did in 2025. But BG is finding his game again. 30-1. I do not mind it at all. Like his course history as well around this golf course. So Ben Griffin, Michael Thorbjornsen, 2 guys I'm looking at on the betting board. Next thing I want to touch on, the website, shipitnation.com. You go to code BOOTS, you get all of this stuff for free. All of this stuff for free. Right here, Ship It Nation. Join the nation. Bang, bang, bang. Single sport, you just want the golf. PGA plus optimizer. You want everything. All access plus optimizer. Code BOOTS gets you a week trial. But don't stop there. We want you to fly that flag. You click that right there where it says, what does it say actually? It says, I want to confirm what it says to say the right. Oh, it says winner circle. Go right here, click logos, download one of these pictures, put it in your DFS FanDuel avatar. And if you win $1,000 in a week, you win 10K, 100K. And don't get it twisted, we've had $1 million winners. Not this week in the golf, but we've had $1 million winners. You will be rewarded with Ship It Nation swag, with Ship It Nation deals on a month for lifetime. So get in on it. You get the projections. You get the showdown content, the Stone 2.0. You get a ton of other stuff, the Slate Station value report, some notes, a ton of great stuff at Ship It Nation. So get over there, use code BOOTS, help me, help you, and let's run it up. Next thing I want to touch on is a potential chalky golfer, a potential pivot, the one golfer that I am on, and the model. So a potential chalky golfer this week. Actually, I feel like I'm pretty good at knowing who's going to be chalky and who's not going to be chalky. But this week with the pricing, I'm not so sure early in the week. So you could comment below. I don't think this golfer is going to be chalky. You're wrong, Matt. But I do believe at Monday evening around 9 p.m. when I'm recording this golfer, Wyndham Clark, is going to be chalky yet again. I simply think his price is too cheap for the amount of good golf he's played recently. Not a great week at the Open Championship, fine week in Scotland, T5 at River Highlands, a win at the US Open, T11, a third place, and a win. Wyndham popped, starting in Texas, hard, won twice in 4 starts, and now he's only $9,300 at a golf course that he's got a top 10 here. He's got a T17 here. I do not see Wyndham Clark coming in under-owned. I think he's going to be chalky for sure. So he's a potential chalky golfer. Now, with that being said, do I think he's bad chalk? Not necessarily. But if we're just saying chalky, I think Wyndham Clark is going to be that guy. Now we'll go with a potential pivot. Who do I think is going to be a pivot? It depends. This is not a pivot off of Wyndham Clark. This is actually a pivot at the top, the very top of the odds board. I think people are going to go to Cam Young. I think people are going to go to Chris Gotterup. I think people are going to skip over Xander Schauffele at 10,200. And I know he's not having the greatest results right now, but Xander, coming off of his first all-green ball striking week in some time, a T18 at the Open Championship, he's been up and down with the ball striking. The approach has been a little weak, but he gained 3.7 strokes in approach at Royal Birkdale. That was his best approach week since Augusta. So he's finding something with the irons. He's never played this event before, so I don't think he's going to be used to an old course if we're getting some renovations, which I don't think is a thing at all. I just think Xander Schauffele is going to be overlooked at $10,000, $10,200, and you never want to overlook Xander Schauffele. He could pop in any week. So Xander Schauffele is my potential pivot of the week. Before we get to the one golfer I'm on, I want to touch on the model. Here we have the model. I will show you real quick what I did for the model, the 4 models I built. We went with, bear with me for a second. We're going to go to model. We went with approach plus total, strokes gained total, distance plus approach, total driving plus approach, off the tee plus approach plus birdie or better. Made 16 different models and aggregated it into this. Cam Young, number 1. Johnny Kiefer, number 2. Siwoo Kim, number 2. Tied for 4th, Ben Coles, JJ Spawn, William Mao, and a tie for 7th, Michael Brennan and Jackson Coiven. That is the model for the week. Hopefully you could print out a winner here. That leads us to the one golfer that I am on. This golfer, $9,100, Patrick Cantlay. Patrick Cantlay has a runner-up here in his career. That was, 2 years ago? 2022. No, so a few years back. T32 last year. Now, Patrick Cantlay is not the trendiest golfer in the world, but he's truly hitting the ball pretty well. He's been consistent in the ball striking, consistent since the Players, and that has been since March. I like the ball striking he brings in. I like the calm demeanor he brings in. And I like Patrick Cantlay to finish T6 easily without contention. Just go about his day, backdoor it. And at $9,100, you will take a T6 all day. So Patrick Cantlay is the one golfer I am on. I'm going to be playing him in DFS for sure. That wraps it up. Before we get out of here, as always, the song of the day. I think you may have heard this one before, may not. We're going to go with Smokahontas by Attack Attack. Check it out. Laugh if you want to, but let me know how you like it. Let me know. That does it. I will be back on Thursday with the showdown content. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So any questions, you know where to find me. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you soon. Peace out.